Hello everyone, this is the LEGO Marvel Avengers Quinjet from 2025. It was released on August 1st, and I built it live on YouTube without the instructions. The link is in the corner right here, and it comes with 5 minifigures, as well as this stand, which allows the aircraft to rotate. It is quite large, so it barely fits in frame, so I have to zoom out a bit just to show you everything. Here's a look at the front of the box, which includes lots of valuable set information, as well as some very nice box art. I'm very happy this is not an 18+ set or uses the 18+ very black, boring design. You see the minifigures here in the corner as well, along with their names, for those of you who are not familiar with them. On the back of the box, we get to see some play features like this opening hatch, the fact that the wings can be adjusted, as well as this cockpit that can be accessed this way by removing this part, as well as the back. We'll look at that very soon. Here are the dimensions of the set if you're interested. And with that, let's get to the contents of the box. Okay, so it's, I'd say, 3/4 full, which is better than I was expecting. So in this set, we got 10 numbered bags, numbered from 1 to 10. And we also get this piece that is not part of any bag and it's just thrown there in the box, so it got a little bit scratched. I'm sure for some people it's got scratched even more, so I'm not even like the person who should complain about this the most, but nevertheless, something for LEGO to improve. And this is a clear back sticker sheet, which means you only get one chance to apply the stickers correctly. You cannot reapply these stickers, so if you fail at applying them, too bad. You have to ask for another sticker sheet, maybe even purchase one, just because these cannot be reattached without leaving some significant ugly residue. So be very careful with the sticker sheet. Take your time to apply the stickers. Bag 10 is the last bag, but I built it first. It contains the stand for the Quinjet, as well as the Ultron minifigure, and these additional accessories used to attach the minifigures to various parts of the stand or the Quinjet, but mostly the stand. Bags 1 and 2 form the beginning of the body of the Quinjet, the main part of it. So in bag 1 we build this part right here, in bag 2 we build the back and this part right here at the top. In bag 1 we also got Black Widow with her motorbike. In bag 3, we build this part of the wing, so it's basically the bottom part of it, and not the completed thing yet. And bag 4 is nearly identical to this, but just the mirror image. Bag 5 attaches the wings to the fuselage. We build a bit more of the main part of it, and then we add these parts to the wings, and these parts get clipped on right here. Bag 6 builds the cockpit of the Quinjet, and also gives us the Quicksilver minifigure. There's a bunch of clips here and here to attach it to the main build. So bag 8 basically builds the other wing, the right wing of the ship, as well as the tip for it. Actually, this one right here. This tip was built in bag 7. And we're done with the build. In this set we got 5 minifigures, so here are Black Widow, Quicksilver, as well as Hawkeye, and these two have both torso and leg printing, but this guy only has torso printing for whatever reason. None of them have any side printing, but they all have printing on the back of their torsos at the very least. And here's what Black Widow looks like, and we see that she has an alternate expression. And so does Quicksilver. And here's what those look like in context. I like all of these minifigures, although I do think that Quicksilver deserved some leg printing or dual molding. The next two minifigures are Iron Man as well as Ultron, so these are perhaps the best minifigures in the set, especially Ultron. I love the silver. It's silver plastic, and then on top of that it's painted with reflective silver, so it looks really, really good, especially in person. You can kind of see like the reflection of the red stud on his torso. That is deluxe. That's just the way the light hits it. It's really, really nice to see, and so I'm very happy to get this minifigure. And there's a bit of leg printing with the silver continuing there as well, so very nice. Although if they put it on the side as well, that would have been absolutely deluxe. The Iron Man is simpler, but he's also nice to get, and he has the very famous liftable screen. You can see under there Tony Stark, and he does have an alternative expression with the devices or gadgets of the Iron Man suit available, so you can visualize him in this mode as well. So that is also very nice to see. And both of these minifigures have certain energy coming from beneath their feet, and it's culminating in this 1x2 piece right here. It's rounded and has holes, so that it can be attached to the minifigure stand, which we'll look at right now. I rearranged some of the parts, and this is one example display that you can come up with. So there's studs here where you can attach the minifigures, or you could attach them to this piece right here from the bar or the stud, and there's a stud on either side, so you could potentially have one minifigure on this side and another on this side, so, and perhaps a third one right here, so you could really optimize this display according to what particular scene from the movie that you want to show, or perhaps your own custom story with these characters. So all of that is possible with this stand. The stand itself is nice, although I do not like the use of the blue Technic pins. I really wish that LEGO would go back to the black pins, at least for the display sets. This is a set that's marketed for kids 12 plus as well as adults, and I'm pretty sure that a 12-year-old will be able to tell a black colored pin of this length 3, versus a length 2 black pin. I'm pretty sure that 12-year-olds will be able to figure it out. So I do not understand why all of us, adults included, have to deal with the juniorized pins and color coding. Also, it would have been more deluxe if they could somehow hide the technicals that are not necessary, but that's just a nice to have kind of thing. And same thing for these anti-studs right here. Other than that, the stand is perfectly functional. Although after a few days, since the set was built, I did the live build a few days before recording this video, I noticed that now there's not enough friction to hold this in place. So if I spin the plane around, when I first built it, it would stay completely in place, but now you see that it's rotating slightly due to the gravitational pull. So you can see I'm not touching it at all with my hands, but it's moving on its own just because it's heavier towards the back, and so it naturally wants to go in this direction, which may or may not be what you're looking for. So the stand is good, but it could use some improvements, and you might want to add another gear like this, 1 or 2 of them. Somehow you might need to make other modifications to make that achievable, but basically add even more friction here so that this does not rotate as easily. Maybe somehow introduce a worm gear. That would be something that you could do to make this more fixed in place, or just lock it using, I'm sure there's a way to lock it so that you cannot move it unless you remove that lock. So those are your various options. But of course, in addition to the stand, we also get the plane itself. So I'm going to remove it from the stand. And by the way, it's not attached with any studs. These are just places to guide you where to insert the axles right here, but in reality it's not attached. So if you were to hold this upside down and I dropped a bunch of the minifigures, the plane would fall. So that is something to keep in mind. Here's a look at the Quinjet in its landed form. It does have a bit of a rake thanks to the landing gear used. You could also add like 1 or 2 pieces from the pieces I ended up not using, so that could be used to raise it up a little bit if you want to do that. And maybe that's what those pieces are used for, because I do not really see them being used anywhere in the build, so perhaps they're used to hold the plane like this. So I'm not going to hold that against this model. Here's a look at the Quinjet from the top. It is quite large. Here you really feel your money's worth, but then the wings are adjustable, so it's very easy to flip them just like what you see in the show. So that's pretty nice to see. And I do like the details of the red light on the left wing and the green light on the right wing, just like with real aircraft. That's some very nice attention to detail right there. These can hyperextend perhaps a bit more than what is shown in the movie, but it's definitely good enough. I just worry that over time it might sag, so that is something to keep in mind. Another thing to keep in mind is all these clear back stickers. As I complained about them endlessly during the live build, I especially dislike having this be a sticker, a clear back sticker, because the Avengers logo I think should have been printed. It's such a valuable and important piece. Also, this exact thing, we've seen it multiple times, so this could have been printed. This could have been printed as well, although this and this are not identical, but they're flipped, they're mirrored. These 2 pieces are the same, so I do think there was an opportunity to print more pieces here and use less stickers, although with 2025 budgets being what they are, I understand why they went that route, although I don't like it. So this is what it looks like from all the angles. I do like the way they did the rear with this coral and blue combination. It gives the impression of the engines glowing red hot, but then they're emitting some kind of energy. I don't really get the yellowish orange here. It doesn't look too bad, but at the same time it clashes with this. There's a bit too much color at the rear for my taste, but perhaps this is accurate to some version of this in the source material. So that is something to keep in mind. And yeah, it does generally look good from all the angles, and this thing has lots of angles, and I especially like the way that this whole thing was clipped to the side. It's easier to see this when it's on the stand and you're at the right height. You can see that this is pointing down at an angle. You can see this going down compared to the rest of the aircraft. And I also like all the brick building details that they did. So this stripe is done using just genuine LEGO pieces and building techniques, and same thing for these red details right here. And these are built with clips and studs on the side construction, so that's pretty nice as well. This is removable, and it's done in one nice assembly, which is very cool. I do like that this is a printed piece. I don't like the curved stickers that are on the counterpart piece on the other side. And if you leave these off, it's going to look a little bit awkward, but it's going to be hard to position them quite right. So do take your time when applying these stickers, just like what I did during the live build, and I think they turned out okay. And then you can also remove this part quite easily because it's only held by 2 studs. And with that, we gain access to the Quinjet interior, which we see is only 4 studs wide, which is quite surprising for a model of this size. I was expecting it to be larger, but alas, it is not. So you have a cockpit right here. You can fit 1 pilot. There's no co-pilot space here. It's roomy enough for the single pilot though. This is a sticker, but this is a printed piece, thankfully, the console right here. And here's a better look at those. A bit further behind you see these clips. This is how this assembly is attached at that angle. So you really see here how the 2 parts are done almost completely independently, and then they just clip together. This is another one of those clips, so that's very nice to see. Here we have this sticker of an Ultron alert right here. On the other side we have a sticker that represents a schematic or diagram of the Quinjet. We see here a bit more of the lights even on the inside, which is a nice touch. And yeah, the wings are also done quite nicely, but I'll finish talking about the interior before getting to the wings. You have 2 seats here, which is not accurate to the in-universe counterpart, which had space for the whole crew. But I understand that LEGO had to downsize a bit, given the constraints of this space. Again, I wish they made this a little bit wider, because I have a bunch of stuff here in the wing. I feel like they could have somehow took advantage of that to give us more usable space on the inside, but perhaps that was too difficult to execute. And finally, at the rear, we have some place to hold some cargo, and then this rear openable hatch or door. And by the way, this is not a good place to lift the set from. There's no technique here. If you just lift this, it's going to come off, and it's not going to really help you lift the set, so you really have to hold it from the bottom. So this is what this looks like from the rear. It's actually very seamless. Like, you might not even know that this opened unless you built the set for your very good observation. This thing can go all the way down. It can ratchet literally all the way vertical if you really want to, although most likely you're going to want it at an angle like this or this. And this is useful if you have the motorbike on the inside, and you want to recreate the scene where like someone is sliding out on a motorbike like this and then going to some destination, so that's quite nice to get. But then we do have a mismatch in the angles between the angle of this plate right here and the angle of this piece. I don't know if they could have solved that easily, because it's quite tricky to figure out what pieces to use to get the exact right combination so that it looks just right. On the other hand, even LEGO Star Wars Ultimate Collector Series ships, such as the Republic gunship from 2021, they also had a similar issue with their designs, and they were even larger. So probably LEGO could not figure out a better way to do this, and the LEGO designers have to work within the parts that they have. Very rarely they can create 1 or 2 specialized pieces per set or per theme. Like, they're pretty strict on that, so they can't just say, oh, I'm going to create a new piece just for this model. They have to justify it and see where else it could be used, etc., because creating new molds is expensive and generally discouraged, although sometimes it can be justified. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting model. You see here the wings, and here you see the construction of the wings and why they're so impressive. They're actually clipped on from multiple angles. So you have the regular part of the wing, it's just the flat part from the underside, and you have this part that's clipped on at a very subtle, slight angle. Like, you might wonder, oh, why even bother with this? But the answer is that at a large enough scale, like, this appears a lot larger than this. So in reality, it does make sense. And it's actually held together by this piece, which also is nice part usage. So very, very nice the way that they did this. I'm definitely very appreciative of the efforts of the designer right here. And of course, this looks better from many different angles. And yeah, here again, you can see the subtle angle of the cockpit, like, pointing slightly down. I really like that effect, and it reminds me of lots of military aircraft. The only thing I don't like is this gap right here between this dark bluish gray and this light bluish gray. Like, there's an open gap there. I think that should have been closed up somehow. And here's what the aircraft looks like with this closed. This is seamless, by the way. There's no gap here, and that's excellent. These pieces have been literally designed to work with each other. We can also close this, and yeah, that's a quite good look right there. And having the stand makes it easy to spin around, and you can also spin it around in different directions to make it look like it's going up or down. So that's something that is very nice about the stand. It's not like completely flat, but it's at an angle. But the downside is that perhaps the aircraft will rotate on its own to a place where gravity will take it. So that's something to keep in mind if you do plan on putting it on the stand long term. Yeah, it's a very nice model. It has lots of innovative building techniques, lots of solutions that I was not expecting when I first got it. I got this set because I thought it looked cool, and I liked the characters, the minifigures, and I was like, okay, it's a nice set to get, and it's more affordable than any of the stuff that Star Wars has. Plus, I always wanted to get like a nice Quinjet. I missed out on the previous version, so I was like, okay, this one looks even better because it has a bit more of the colors compared to the earlier one that was mostly light bluish gray. So that was good. But then building the set and taking the time to enjoy the build process made me appreciate it so much more. By the way, we do get some stud shooters here, although I doubt that anyone in the target audience of 12 plus is actually going to use this for play. Like, no one's going to be swooshing this thing and shooting it with the stud shooters. So I don't think that these were necessary, but on the other hand, they don't hurt, and if you want, you can leave them out and replace them with just ordinary pieces, or you could think of them as more decorative than actually functional. Yeah, it's a quite nice model. I have lots of good things to say about it. The downsides are the clear back stickers. The price, I think, is within the realm of reasonability. I would like for it to be cheaper, of course, although I understand LEGO in 2025 has become very, 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 very expensive. And this is one of the less bad ones compared to other sets from this theme and from other themes as well. And the excellent build experience without the instructions does help me accept the very high price. So yeah, it's within the realm of reasonability. If there's a good gift with purchase on LEGO.com or at the LEGO store, then I'd say it's worth it. Or if there's double insider points, then I'd say it's worth it. Otherwise, you're probably best off getting this set at a discount, and I'm pretty sure it's going to get discounted eventually. But it's definitely better than the X-Men jet or the Hoopty, because those were absolutely ridiculous. And I'm not just looking at price per piece here, I'm also looking at price per volume of stuff. So you get some nice figures in the set, these 5 right here, although I do wish that they gave us even more figures. Like, I would not have complained if they gave us like 6, 7, or even 8 minifigures for the price that we're paying. And I know in the past, LEGO used to either give us more figures or lower prices, but now we're getting less figures and the higher prices. By the way, we do get a small motorcycle side build in this set, and here's what it looks like. It's perfectly symmetrical from one side to the other, so that's basically what you get as a side build. No other side builds, no villains or anything like that. So here's one final look at the thing from all the angles. This is it on the stand. Here's a view from above, and for those of you who care, a view from the bottom. And actually, you should care because you got these cool transparent pieces right here, which are covered with a sticker. It has a really nice effect. If you look at it from the other side, I do like the use of the coral color here. It makes sense. It makes it seem like very active, very hot. So it's like pink hot instead of just the regular red. So this thing can be swooshed around. It is swooshable technically, but it's not very easy to do. It's a bit heavy, and so it's not like those $10 sets you can easily swoosh around. This one requires a little bit more effort. But for the target audience, which is older kids and adults, I think they will appreciate that, regardless. Finally, here's a comparison with the Holiday Quinjet. This is a set from a previous LEGO Marvel Advent Calendar. You can see here this one is a lot smaller. They captured the general shape. But of course, this one is way more detailed, way more interesting. It's just nice to see like the big Quinjet and the tiny Quinjet right next to each other. And you can attach this one to some part of the Quinjet if you want. So that's pretty interesting to see, at least for me. Yeah, mini Quinjet, big Quinjet. And also, they do give a bow and arrow in the set. Here's the other pieces I didn't use. So you can use these with some of the minifigures if you want. Another positive about this set is how it fits in the box easily with very minimal disassembly. Yes, you do have to take some parts off, but then you can fit it in the box for storage if you just want to transport it somewhere or you're not able to display it because you don't have the space. You also have to disassemble parts of the stand, but it's very easy to do so that when you want to put it back together, you can just take out the parts and do it very quickly. So that's the LEGO Marvel Avengers 2025 Quinjet. It's a very interesting build, lots of interesting solutions. I really enjoyed putting this together without the instructions, and thank you for those of you who joined the live stream. We had lots of fun together. I would definitely recommend this set if you don't mind the stickers, because you will really enjoy the build experience, and the final result looks really good on display. Plus you get some nice minifigures. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to like and subscribe, because more amazing videos are coming your way very soon. Bye for now.